Translation. Thereafter, a horse named Uchaishrava, which was as white as the moon, was generated. Bali Maharaj desired to possess the horse, and Indra, the king of heaven, did not protest, for he had previously been so advised by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tata Airavato Nama Varanendro Vinirgata Dantais Chatur Bisvetadrer Haran Bhagavato Mahim. As the next result of the churning, the king of elephants named Airavata was generated. This elephant was white, and with its 4 tusks it defied the glories of Kailasha mountain, the glorious abode of Lord Shiva. Airavana dayastu asto diggaja abhavam stata. Hare Krishna. Shishi Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Sitaram Lakshmana Hanumanji ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai. Where was I? Yeah. This elephant was white, and with its 4 tusks it defied the glories of Kailasha mountain, the glorious abode of Lord Shiva. Airavana dayastu asto diggaja abhavam stata abramu prabritai stocha karinyas tu abhavan ripa. Thereafter, O king, 8 great elephants, which could go in any direction, were generated. They were headed by Airavana. 8 she-elephants, headed by Abramu, were also generated. Purport. The names of the 8 elephants were Airavana, Pundarika, Vamana, Kumuda, Anjana, Pushpadanta, Sarvabhauma e Supratika. Kaustobakyam Abudratnam Padmarago Mahodade Tasmin Manos Priham Chakre Vaksholankarane Hari Tato Bhavat Parijata Suraloka Vibhushanam Purayati Artino Yortai Sasvadbhuvi Yatha Bhavan. Generated thereafter from the great ocean were the celebrated gems Kaustuba Mani and Padmaraga Mani. Lord Vishnu, to decorate his chest, desired to possess them. Generated next was the Parijata flower, which decorates the celestial planets. O king, as you fulfill the desires of everyone on this planet by fulfilling all ambitions, the Parijata fulfills the desires of everyone. Tatas chapsarazo jata niskakantya suvasasa ramanyas varginam valgugati lila valokanai. Next, there appeared the Apsaras, who are used as prostitutes on the heavenly planets. They were fully decorated with golden ornaments and lockets and were dressed in fine and attractive clothing. The Apsaras move very slowly in an attractive style that bewilders the inhabitants of the heavenly planets. Tataschavira Bhutshakshad Shri Rama Bhagavat Para Ranjayanti Dishakantya Vidyutsodamani Yatha. Then there appeared the goddess of fortune, Rama, who is absolutely dedicated to being enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She appeared like electricity, surpassing the lightning that might illuminate a marble mountain. Purport. Shri means opulence. Krishna is the owner of all opulences. Bhaktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Shantim Richati. This peace formula for the world is given in Bhagavad Gita 5.29. When people know that the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is the supreme enjoyer, the supreme proprietor, and the most intimate, well-wishing friends of all living entities, peace and prosperity will ensue all over the world. Unfortunately, the conditioned souls, being placed into illusion by the external energy of the Lord, want to fight with one another, and therefore peace is disturbed. The first prerequisite for peace is that all the wealth presented by Shri, the goddess of fortune, be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone should give up his false proprietorship over worldly possessions and offer everything to Krishna. This is the teaching of the Krishna consciousness movement. Mukham karoti vachalam pangurlangayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurum dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sichaitannamishwaram. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, peace. Actually, this journey is wonderful. So many things appeared. But the most wonderful appearance is, of course, that of the goddess of fortune. And Prabhupada says that if we want peace, we have to offer whatever the goddess of fortune produces to Krishna. Otherwise there won't be peace. Why there won't be peace? Because we as conditioned souls are fighting with one another to gain supremacy, to gain the center of everyone's consciousness for ourselves. Krishna Bayar Mukha Oya Bhogavan Chakare Nikatista Mayatare Japatiyadare. When we give up Krishna consciousness, we come into this world of illusion, which is like a world for diseased people that are like actors on stage, but that have forgotten to be actors, and they think they are the character they are playing the part of. And each and every character of this world has got a common denominator, which is, I am the enjoyer. I am the person who has to enjoy and exploit nature. I am the person who is the Lord of nature in some, portion or another, and I'm the real friend of the other living entities. I'm, in the innermost core of my heart, I really, I'm the one who can help and give affection and protection to others. We think like this in a smaller or larger scale. An ant, a father ant, mother ant, thinks like that for the small ants. A bird, a father or mother bird, they do that for their small what do you call them? Small birds, huh? Cichlids, okay, whatever. Okay, so they do that. They go out in the morning. They try to find an insect to bring back home. Just that there is no supermarket for them. They just go in nature. They get it. They bring it back. Oh, I got such a nice bug, for you, for my family. So they, and they think, I am, I'm the real protector, friend, and I'm the enjoyer of my family, like this. And others in a larger scale, humans and demigods even, all we have the same disease. We are thinking we are Krishna in some way or other. So in that way we cannot get peace. Nasti buddhi. Why? Nasti buddhi rayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana Nachabhavayana Santira Santasya Kutasukam. I'm getting the verse. So, if our intelligence is not clear, if our intelligence is not pure, our mind will be disturbed. And with a disturbed mind, we cannot get peace, and without peace, we don't get happiness. So, why is our intelligence disturbed, corrupted? Because we think we are the enjoyer. So this is the basic principle of illusion, a corrupted cognitive faculty that we acquire in this world, and anything we see, anything we perceive, we immediately turn it into something that could be enjoyed by us. Anything. It's such an automatic and spontaneous thing that we do that it's practically impossible to get out of it, of this situation. That's why it is a nityabadha, we are eternally conditioned, because this perverted condition of our consciousness, of our intelligence, is so stringent upon us, on the soul, that the soul has practically forgotten its real identity, and it thinks that this is this real life. So how to do it? How to get out of this situation? How to recognize who is the real enjoyer of all the one who enjoys everyone's sacrifice, the real proprietor and the real friend. How to do that? Well, first of all, we have to put an end to our attempt to enjoy his nature. Another verse where Shanti is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, Apurya manama chala prastitam samudramapa pravishanti advad tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti nakamakami. Shanti, who gains peace? Who finds peace? A person that is like the ocean. In the ocean, many rivers, contribute their water, their waters, but the ocean stays still. It doesn't grow up to a dimension that inundates the lands, or it stays still. However many rivers go into it. So we should be like this. Many desires, many proposals will manifest within our minds, within our intelligence and minds. With many pushes. Now be the enjoyer of this. Now be the proprietor of that. Now be the friend of this. The intimate protector and friend of that person. So many pushes like this will manifest within our heart. It's natural, that's life. At every moment, actually, there is a demand that we take these positions. But we should not fall a prey to these proposals, to these pushes. We should remain calm, remain neutral. Now that's not easy, because we are accustomed to listen to the demands of others, of our own demands, and therefore we are accustomed to go into the arena of the fight for being the enjoyer, for being the friend, for being the proprietor. So how to remain neutral? How to not fall prey to these pushes and to these demands? There's a very simple way, which is offering to Krishna. If whenever something happens and I am requested to play a part in one way or the other, if I play it for Krishna, if Krishna is there as the object of my activity, then I won't be contaminated by what I do. Even if I produce a big result, even if I am considered to be enjoyer of who knows what, old planet. Some kings were the Bhoktaram. I mean, they were the sort of apparently the enjoyers of the old Earth planet. But they were Rajarshis. They were balanced. They never fell. They took the service and the sacrifices of many humans and they brought them to Krishna. So even though they had such a big position, they were sort of, channeling that service they were getting, the sacrifices of the subjects, to Krishna. And there were proprietors of big, even more than one planet, some of them. But they never felt the planets were belonging to them, or the kingdoms belonging to them. They always felt that Krishna was the real proprietor, and they were just caretakers for Krishna's sake. And that's even more subtle and difficult. Suridam, many felt protected by them. Like in a family, people feel protected by their father or their mother, or in the kingdom by their king or the queen. You say God save the queen here, whatever. I don't know how protective she is, but anyhow, if people feel protected, and they gave their affection to the king or the queen, because the kingdom, provided, their shelter, their everything. But the king did not take this friendship and affection of the subjects for themselves. They turn it to Krishna. So that is the system. Not that we stop having relationships, not that we stop being the enjoyers of something, or the owners of something, or the friends of someone, but we shouldn't do it for our own sake. We should do it for Krishna. Now, the impersonalist tries to make everything zero, as Prabhupada says, not to be the enjoyer of anything, or to be the proprietor of anything, or to be the friend of anyone, and that's impossible, because you want to see people sheltered, you want to see people happy. It's our nature. We want to enjoy wonderful things, and especially wonderful relationships. Now, if we stop, it's unnatural. But if we do it on behalf of Krishna, if we do these things on behalf of Krishna, then it's wonderful. Then Krishna uses us as instruments, and the world becomes very peaceful. Why? Because I'm not going to fight with you on account of me being the proprietor of the friend, or the lover, or the owner or something, and you on your account. We are doing it. We may be fighting for making Krishna happy, for giving happiness to Krishna, but that's not a real fight. That's a sane competition, and the nature of that competition is that there is love and respect. In material competition, there is no love and there is no respect. There is actually real violence and real enmity. And even though a person may be celebrated as a savior of his own country, we have here Churchill or something, then, I don't think in India, they celebrated Churchill as the savior of their own country. So, one may be a savior of one country and loved by some, and may be considered, something else somewhere else. So, the real thing is that no one can be as equiposed and as Krishna, and can be friendly to everyone as Krishna is. Only Krishna is devotee. And Krishna is so kind that if you give him whatever you have, he'll give back. He's not, how do you say, stingy? It's not he doesn't need to protect his wealth because it's unlimited. One who has unlimited wealth doesn't have to protect it and make sure that nobody else gets it. Krishna has unlimited wealth, so he can distribute unlimitedly. And he does so when he sees that we recognize his proprietorship. And here is mentioned in the goddess of fortune. People try to enjoy the goddess of fortune. Everyone wants fortune. It's written everywhere. Your fortune here, buy this lottery ticket, fortune, and this fortune, that fortune, everywhere. They're talking about fortune. But you don't get the real goddess of fortune. You get a photocopy of a photocopy of the goddess of fortune. I mean, it's like, it's the material aspect of the goddess of fortune, which is, in actuality, together means you get a curse, because the material fortune, unless you have the mentality of using it for Krishna and turn it into a spiritual fortune, will be like an iron ball attached to your feet, and you'll drown with it. Material fortune, material happiness, material wealth, good education, like this, they're really big weights on our heart, and they cause our falling down into the material atmosphere. Because why? Because we think that life is worthy. Material life is worth to be living and to live. It's something that it's wonderful. If I am wealthy, I am educated, I am healthy, and I think material life is not that bad. That's why in Kali Yuga is a fortunate era, is a fortunate time, because in other eras like Satya, Treta, I think Srila Jiva Goswami says, that this method of the chanting, they wouldn't take it, because they were attracted by all these wonderful mystical opulences that they had, and it was Kali Yuga. What kind of sacrifice can we make, and what will come out of it? You have to go to buy stuff. You have to go to Harrods. It's not that you have a sacrifice and you say, I need this, and boom, from the fire comes out, a Mini Cooper or something, or whatever you need. You need to go to the place where you buy stuff. You need to sign, you need to pay. You can't pay with mantras. They call the police if you try to pay with mantras, So Kali Yuga, actually, every attempt to become the Bhaktaram or the or the Maheshwaram or the Suridam, makes us ridiculous, really. It's so ridiculous. I own this. I'm the enjoyer of sacrifice as my family. And the children, already when they are 13, they go like this, bye-bye, wait, father and mother, they go, or it's so absurd. And I own something, you own something, the tax officer comes immediately, or you're the owner of this, I don't know here, but you own something is almost a curse now in Italy or in other parts of Europe. They come after you and, squeeze you like a lemon or something, to get all the juice out. It's a witch hunting. They don't send tax officers anymore. They send witches around. I mean, and what you call the man that does, a sorcerer or something. They immediately, Hare Krishna. Gokulananda Ji ki jai. it's like this, so, Maheshwaram, what, you don't own anything. And even Switzerland, which was considered to be the last heavenly place in Europe for taxes, they also given up the bank secret in the bank, So, and with communication now, they'll know any penny you have anywhere. So every penny. So what is the point? What do you own? You own nothing. You own numbers. You own numbers in a bank. If the bank goes down, your numbers are, what are you going to go with your numbers? What are you going to do? Oh, I have these numbers. My iPhone says I have these numbers. And they say, what? And the bank has, collapsed. The euro or the pound has collapsed. During the Second World War, in Germany, right after the Second World War, they used to have, notes, 1 mark, 10 mark, 100 mark notes. So the inflation was so high, they had stamps with 3 zeros. So 1 mark would become 1,000 marks. And then another 3 zeros, million marks. 1 kilo of bread was 1 million marks. Just because you put zeros on the note. It's like 3 zeros at a time. So what is this? Pieces of paper with numbers on it. If the balances, the equilibriums, are disturbed, and they will be disturbed, because the goddess of fortune is not at our service, a service of this dubious humanity. So then your numbers will be nothing. And Suridam Sarvabhutanam. We can see that this tendency of replacing Krishna in someone's heart is so strong that even higher stages of bhakti, like Bharat Maharaj, although he was in Bhava Bhakti and his compassion for the deer was different kind, you could say, but there was a shade of desire of replacing Krishna as the protector, as the real friend, as the caretaker of as the caring person for the deer. So, and he had to take 2 births after that. So even at higher stage, that's very subtle in the heart, to admit that I am not the real intimate friend and well-wishers of the people I love. Krishna is. That's dangerous. Even in spiritual life, Bharat Maharaj, is a great spiritualist. And even if one is a guru or he has to be very careful to always remember that he is not the shelter giver, but Krishna ultimately is, and so that he can perform his service properly. Otherwise, when one thinks, "Oh, I'm the real friend of my disciples," or like this, then it's very dangerous. And as GBCs or temple presidents, whatever, we are not the proprietors of these temples and this. Even though we may have worked like anything to construct temples or buy properties, we should always do performer services without any sense of proprietorship or thinking that we are the controllers of things. Then our service will be accepted by Krishna. Then we'll become. Then we can control the world. Then we can own the world. Then we can be considered a friend of the world, if that consciousness is there. And we should be. Prabhupada was thinking very big. He didn't want us to think, "Oh, don't be shy, don't own anything." He wanted us to think big. In Calcutta, by walking close to the Victoria Memorial, he said, we should own this. We want it. And people were giving things to him. He would take, he had 4 hands. He would, use 4 hands, Srila Prabhupada, because he never thought that anything belonged to him. Even when he said, BBT, money is my money, but is my money means is the Acharya's money, is Krishna, is Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's money, because it's money to print his books, to print the books. And in the books, what are the books? The books are the spiritual world, where all these wonderful personalities with all the Krishna's and Lord Chaitanya's associates are present. So even that was meant for Krishna's enjoyment. So whether we are, in conclusion, whether we are poor or rich from the material point of view, because the verse specifically deals with the goddess of fortune, whether we are poor or rich, whatever we have, we should give to Krishna. Krishna doesn't see, oh, this person has given me a huge check, 2 people had to carry the check because it was so loaded, so heavy. Or this person has given me 1 coin, it's all he had. If that person had only 1 coin and he gave all he had, for Krishna that's more important than a huge check that you need say, barrel carrier to something that you need something to carry. So that's Krishna's nature. Lord Chaitanya demonstrated that, Kulavecha Sridhar or others, they had nothing, but whatever they had, they gave. And he was so pleased. He was so pleased that it's undescribable. Or, if one had so much and gave also, like Bali Maharaj, he was so pleased. Bali Maharaj. That with Bali Maharaj, he was so pleased that he demonstrated his humility and his full surrender by humiliating him at the end. Bali Maharaj had so much, he had this, Uchaishrava, this beautiful horse he took. But he had so many opulences. And even though he had surrendered, and Krishna knew he had surrendered everything, just to show the nature of a real devotee, he humiliated him. He got him bound by ropes, Varuna ropes, and then he was there, like he had been the emperor. He was there. He couldn't even move with all these former subjects and the wives and everything. And he accepted. He was called a cheater because you promised me 3, steps of land. You're only given 2. He had given everything. So finally, he just said, "Now put it on my head." Even though I don't even own my head, but it's to put it on. And so he was humiliated. But why? So that he could be glorified. A person who had given absolutely everything to Krishna. Absolutely everything, with no second thought, as you say. So, Krishna is so opulent. And his greatest opulence, they told me I should go up till 8:30, then ask questions. So, and his greatest opulence is not that of Vaikuntha, or this wonderful, Salokya, Sarsti, Samipya, these forms of liberations where you get, Sarsti, so you get so many things, beautiful. And that's not his greatest opulence. His greatest opulence is the intimate feelings that, the most intimate aspect of himself shares with his most intimate friends. Just like one person may be very, very rich, but there is no amount of money that can pay the loving feelings with his beloved or his children, or like there's not no amount of money that can replace that, if it's true love. I mean, and in this world, or whatever. Anyhow, it's an analogy. So, so Krishna's greatest wealth is his emotional feelings for the devotees, is sentiments of love for his intimate devotees. So if we can gain that wealth, then we are the richest. And even the goddess of fortune, she aspires to go and experience those feelings. So that is the greatest wealth, and that's available even for conditioned soul. Ultimately, if they follow the proper path, the right path, which has been outlined by the acharyas. If we really desire Goranga bolite habe pulaka sarir, Hari Hari bolite naya nebabenir. If we, sincerely desire to love Lord Chaitanya and Radha Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, then we'll be given the chance to obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda by loving him. Arkaber Nityananda Karuna Ohibe Samsara Bhasana Morakabe Tuchabe. And then at that point we'll be freed from this crazy illusion of being Bhuktaram, Maheshwaram, Suridam. We'll be freed. Lord Nityananda can free us from this. Arkabe Nitai Chan Karuna Ohibe. Samsara Bhasana Morakaba Tucha. We'll get out of this revolving cycle of, birth and death, in madness, in this mad attempt to enjoy this world. And then, if Nityananda gives the green light, then Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kama Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kamehama Bhuja Jugala Piriti. So then we'll be able to love the Goswamis and study their scriptures with the proper understanding and realization, Yugala Piriti, and be admitted in the presence of the divine couple of Krishna with his pleasure potency. That's the way to go. So, but an initial step, which is also, in Bhagavad Gita, the third chapter, and Nishkama Karma Yoga, one should offer the results of his wealth to Krishna. That's a first step, and then even work just for him at a later step, and that's essential. Not that we chant and dance, but we keep the money for ourselves. We keep the goddess of fortune for ourselves. Sometimes in India, I lived there for 8 years. So, some people would be so devoted. We go and see them, and I remember one. He had big Hindustan tires or something. He knew all the Bhagavad Gita by heart. He had been in Gurukul. Of course, the most wonderful devotees are there. As Tamal Krishna Maharaj used to say, they have an advantage. Those who are born in India have great advantage. I mean, they're very fortunate, and Lord Chaitanya has said it. So, but this particular chap, I used to go and see him. He knew all the Bhagavad Gita by heart. He had been in the Gurukul since the age 5 or something, in the Himalayas somewhere, and part of the Yajurveda or something. You couldn't even think of a verse that he would mention it before you. It just he started saying the first syllable of the verse. But then, as far as the result of his work, he was not very open. He kept the god. He tried to keep the goddess of fortune for himself. So one should do both. One should chant, hear and chant, and perform services, but at the same time, he should offer whatever Krishna has given him back to Krishna, and he will never be the loser. And I see here so many wonderful devotees are giving, helping a lot, because this temple is practically, heaven on earth, as far as the contributions and help of so many servants of Krishna. So congratulations, Hare Krishna. Sorry, I was a little tired, so maybe I almost put you to sleep. I apologize for that. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or comments?